What's up, guys? We are closing out week 11 of off-season training with my deadlift session for the week. Because I ended up moving this to Friday instead of normally on Saturday when I deadlift, just because there's some other stuff I had to do. I didn't get that extra day of recovery from my squat session, so I ended up going into this day still a little bit sore. Decided to just work on some deficit pulls. So I'm standing on, I believe, 2 or 3 mats. I don't really remember. Looks like two mats there, so about 1.5 inch deficit. Working with anywhere from 405 to 455. Decided to keep that cap at around I believe 75% from the deficits there. Really focusing on holding my position and getting lots of leg drive off of the bottom. These moved pretty decently well. You can see I ended up doing most of the sets at 455. You can see still some variation in the reps in kind of the setup, and I ended up learning something while doing the box deadlifts after this, so I'll kind of get to that in a second once the footage catches up to that. But worked 10 total singles here, and then decided to hit some pulls from the floor. Ended up working those in sets of 2. This is 455, ended up going 475, and then did 3 sets at 495, getting a double, and then just a single on the last one where I shut it down. But my goal with these was to try and use that drive that I had just practiced with the 10 signals and almost kind of use that to prime good quality reps here. So these moved decently well, barring a little bit of fatigue. You can see that my butt is still shooting up just a little bit from the beginning of the lift as I break it off the floor, and that's something that I'm really trying to get rid of. It's just a bad habit that I know is long-term going to end up limiting me. So I'm still working these box deadlifts here, really exaggerating the sitting back motion. And while I was doing these sets, I noticed that I tended to let my shoulders slump forward a little bit more, and almost allow that position. I tried to think about cueing a rounded upper back, even though it didn't end up rounding at all. That's just how I had to think about it, as far as kind of really levering myself into the bar and kind of wedging it. So as I was doing these sets and noticing how much more power I felt like I had, not just from the ground, but also as it carried into the lockout, I kind of wondered, and particularly on this set here, really noticed that these felt better than my actual deadlifts did prior to doing these sets. So I decided to ditch the box and try and mimic my box deadlift form a little bit more closely, trying to again cue the slightly slumped upper back, and then really wedging myself into the ground. And you can see how much better these look than my deads did earlier. So I'm going to be using this technique, or trying to cue it similarly, next week when I pull, just to see if I can maybe find a better position. I know that this does keep my hips a little bit slightly closer to the bar, and that might be part of what feels like just a leverage advantage over my normal style deadlift. I also know that there's no rising of the hips or no change in the angle of the back. So it's not like I'm trying to cue an arched back and then ended up in this slightly rounded position. Instead, I'm trying to cue it being kind of rounded, and it's ending up staying mostly flat. So we'll see where that goes, but that's what I learned from here today. Ended up finishing off with just some lat pull downs and a little bit of core work, and calling it a day. So that is it. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't done so already, check out my Facebook and Instagram. And as always, check out the gym's website at www.savagegym.com.